There are a number of different advantages that Datto provides to its customers to ensure an ideal experience when it comes to the cloud. From multiple replication centers to the petabytes of data that's monitored and maintained on a daily basis, the Datto Cloud is a place where partners can rest easy knowing their clients' data is secure. I'm Kevin Williams. This is Talk Nerdy to Me. In this episode, I sat down with Richard Vega and Carlos Martins, two of our cloud infrastructure engineers, to discuss the intricacies that make the Datto Cloud what it is today. Guys, what are some of the aspects of our cloud infrastructure that make it so unique?
Well, Kevin, we have one of the largest implementations of ZFS for our cloud platform, and we're actually partnered with a lot of vendors, so we're able to bring hardware that goes into these data centers that make up our cloud. We're able to make that a lot cheaper by buying in bulk, and a lot of those savings are then passed down to the partner and the end user.
Now, guys, what can you tell me about the security when it comes to the cloud?
There was a large increase in security threats worldwide, and we take every measure here at Datto to ensure that our partners' data is protected and lives in a place that unauthorized users or threats can't get to it.
We're also looking at, physical access to these sorts of resources like our servers. So we have things like two-factor authentication in place for access to anything within the network, and then we have authentication that is required to actually get into the network to begin with. So we have a very lockdown system.
Can you guys break down for me how data is actually moving from a Datto device to the actual cloud or our data centers?
So SpeedSync is the main means by which we get our data replicated from device to cloud. Now, SpeedSync is a software written in-house, and what makes SpeedSync so interesting is that it's completely built from the ground up using PHP. It has a very large, widespread set of tables and lots of different pieces of itself running on the device, on the servers, on the replication servers, and it's responsible for pretty much the entire means by which we move data around our cloud. It has the ability to prioritize snapshots on the device that need to make it off-site as quickly as possible. So things will actually be able to be sent to our cloud out of order, but get reassembled on the other end in a backup chain that can then be recovered from by the partner.
With all the different roles your team is responsible for, what could partners expect out of your team on a daily basis?
Well, a large portion of our job is actually to just be the eyes of the cloud. We have a very large Zabbix implementation that we utilize for monitoring our fleet as well as our core services. So in a daily basis, we could be interacting with any part of the company that has to do with touching the cloud and implementing monitoring solutions for them so that we can react and ensure that the customer experience is the top priority.
Also, another part of monitoring the cloud and making sure that the cloud stays up and running is obviously maintenance. Taking care of the servers, hardware, hard drives, any of the number of different things that could go wrong in a network in a data center. Never ending. So our team is responsible for making sure that all of those problems get taken care of as they happen or preemptively before they happen, which is where the monitoring comes in. In some cases, we can catch these things. In other cases, it's more of a reaction. But at the end of the day, the responsibility of taking care of both our cloud and our internal infrastructure falls on our team.
Guys, how do we keep up with the growth of our cloud?
One of the ways that we keep up with the growth of the cloud is by taking a look at the data that we have on hand, because with big data coming down the pipeline like we have here at Datto, we wind up a lot of the time with questions like how can we make sure that the cloud is going to scale out to what we need it to be to accommodate all this data.
We have a team of people dedicated to standing up new storage nodes and building out new rooms and new data centers to make sure that we have efficient space and we can provide the quality of service that our customers expect.
So we often say protecting data no matter where it lives. Why do you think partners should make the decision to trust Datto with their end users' data?
When a partner trusts Datto with its backups, they're not just they're not just paying for a backup, they're paying for a service. So we're giving them a team of people that are maintaining the infrastructure that houses the backups of their backups.
I think the real benefit of utilizing Datto as your backup and disaster recovery provider is that you have a dedicated disaster team. You know, the cloud engineer team is available in the case of a disaster, and we pride ourselves on our disaster response plans and our procedures. And that's one of the biggest benefits is that you don't have, you have to develop a disaster recovery plan, but the response is going to be executed by Datto and the MSP. Our products kind of resemble an ecosystem. Everything is built with other devices in mind. We're building for a multi-device, cross-platform service that really provides the needs that MSPs are looking for.
Gentlemen, thank you both for joining us today.
Absolutely, it was our pleasure.
The Datto Cloud is available to any partner who has a Datto device. For more information on our cloud, visit our website.